Okay, let's take a look on how we can write secant square of inverse tangent x as an algebraic expression. And let me explain the notation first. The square right here, this means what we have is secant of inverse tangent x, and then you raise that to the second power. So I will look at this as secant of inverse tangent x inside of a parentheses, and then you take this raised to the second power, okay? So our first goal is to figure out what this is. As usual, inverse tangent x represents an angle, so I'll begin with that. So I'll look at this. I can say something like that theta equals to the inverse tangent x. And once we have this equation, I can apply the original tangent on both sides. So I will say, I will take tangent right here, and I will take tangent right here. And here, I will just get tangent theta equals to the original and the inverse cancel each other out, which I just have an x left right here. And based on this information, we know we can come up with a right triangle, because in a right triangle, tangent of an angle means opposite over adjacent. And let me write that down. It's the opposite side over the adjacent side. And tangent theta is equal to x. Let me write x as x over 1. This way, we know the opposite side is x, and the adjacent side is 1. And let me come up with a right triangle. Just draw the triangle this way, and put the right angle here, and put the theta here. This way, it's more consistent if you just draw your right triangle this way. Based on my angle choice, I call this angle theta. That means the opposite side will be right here. This is the opposite side. And opposite is equal to x, so label this as x. And based on the theta right here, this side right here is adjacent, and adjacent is equal to 1. I will put 1 right here. And I have to figure out the hypotenuse right here. We know two sides in the right triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem. I'll call this C. So let me do it right here. We know that a squared plus b squared has to be hypotenuse squared. So we know 1 squared plus x squared has to be the hypotenuse, which is c squared. And if you look at this part, 1 squared is just 1 plus x squared is equal to c squared. And to isolate c, I can just square root both sides. And I will just, let me just show you the square root both sides. Take the positive square root, we have 1 plus x squared in the square root is equal to c. So in other words, c is equal to square root of 1 plus x squared. And with this picture right here, we can answer what's secant of an angle. And this angle is exactly the arctangent x, right? The inverse tangent x, which is right here. To get secant of this angle, this is the angle right here. And you just have to ask yourself, what's the definition of secant in a right triangle? The definition of secant is the hypotenuse over adjacent. So let me write that down. So this right here, secant of inverse tangent, which is right here, it's the hypotenuse, which is square root of 1 plus x squared, hypotenuse over the adjacent, which is 1. And don't forget, we still have that big parentheses, and we still have to square that. The over 1 never matters, but then the square root and the square, they cancel each other out. So therefore, we will just get 1 plus x squared. And let me do a quick recap right there. What we're saying is, secant square of inverse tangent x. This is just 1 plus x squared as an algebraic expression. And this is how you do it.